I had too much water in my mouth. I have a very, very, very ambitious TBR for the end of the year. I'm pretty sure there's more books on this TBR than I've read all year. There is no part of me that thinks I'm gonna read all these books by the end of the year, but darn it if I'm not gonna try. The reason this TBR is so crazy is because there's so many book releases for the end of this year. So we're gonna start by just going through those really fast, and then we'll talk about just like random books I wanna read. By the way, hi, if you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. This channel has been newly renovated into a book channel. That's the path we're going down now. This is my life now. The most recent release, and actually the only release I have for September, is Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. I did have this already pre-ordered. So the problem with this is that I still hadn't read Things We Hide from the Light. I'm almost done with it now. I am on page 416. Initially, I wasn't super excited about this. Now that Things We Left Behind came out, it made me really excited to read this one because this was like really high up on my TBR so I could get to this. Now that I'm reading this, I love this series. I love Knock 'Em Out, The Town. Like, I love all of the characters, all of the side characters and everybody. But why are these books so long? I'm reading this and I'm like, this is a joke, right? Like, there's no way that any romance book needs to be this long. So now I don't feel so excited about reading this. I just got a kitten and he's very talkative, and if I waited for him to stop talking for me to talk, we would never get this video done. So if you hear little meows and chirps in the background, that's Archie. I swear, it's like pets know when you need them to be quiet, and that's the only time they're not quiet. Okay, next is October 3rd. We have 2 releases on October 3rd. The first one is Wildfire, which is the sequel, I guess, to Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, I believe. I'm going off of memory on this. I loved Icebreaker. Like, I gave it 5 stars just simply because it was a good time. Like, it wasn't knock your socks off, change your life, but it was just a good ass time. So I'm really excited about this for just like a lighthearted, smutty, good time. If it's like Icebreaker, I'm in. I need you. I need... Oh my gosh. These pets are driving me crazy. Next we have Throne of the Fallen, which is the next book in the Kingdom of the Wicked series. These pets are gonna make me lose my mind. Phoebe, stop. Please. I'm begging you. You guys were literally sleeping till I sat down to film. If you guys watched my yearly wrap up, I talked about this trilogy and how I was on the 3rd book and I didn't finish it yet, and I need to finish it, and I still want to finish it, but I just like, I'm not being pulled by it. Is this release one I'm terribly excited for? Not necessarily. If I get to finishing Kingdom of the Feared and end up loving it, I'm sure I'll be super excited and want to get the Throne of the Fallen. I think it follows a different brother of Wraths. I don't remember which one. The last book in this trilogy is going to depend on if I go get the next one or not. All right, next we have October 13th, and this is Hopeless, which is part of the Chestnut Springs series, which is just so funny because Hopeless, Colleen Hoover, now we got Hopeless by Elsie Silver. So here's the thing with this. I'm mentioning this not because I'm gonna read that book this year, but because my goal for this year and part of my TBR is to start the Chestnut Springs series. I haven't even started it. I don't know why. I literally want to read this series so bad. Like, the hype it has is so extreme. Do you ever feel like something's so hyped that you're like nervous to read it if it doesn't like live up to the hype? I feel like that's kind of how I feel about it. I think that this release is going to make me kind of like get pushed into that. All right, next, October 17th, we have 2 Twisted Crowns, which is a sequel to One Dark Window. I cannot freaking wait. This is gonna be one of those releases that like I read it the day it gets to my house. If you watched my reading 20 minutes a day, 20 minutes? Why did I say that? That's because that's really how the challenge went. If you saw my reading 200 pages a day video, I finished this book in that video and you would have seen how much I loved this book. And the ending of this was just crazy. I genuinely have no freaking clue what they're gonna do in the next book and how that problem is. I don't even know how it's possible for it to get solved. So I cannot wait for October 17th to find out what the hell, what? I don't know. When I think of this book, that's just all I have to say is what? What? October 24th, A Curse for True Love. That is going to be the, she didn't take the sticker off. It's just so hard to take them off with acrylics, which literally as soon as I'm done filming this video, I'm going to the nail salon and I'm getting these taken off because I am sick of them. So that is the next book in the Broken Heart, Once Upon a Broken Heart series, which currently there's only 2 books out. So A Curse for True Love will be the 3rd book. I have not read even the first one yet, which I've wanted to so bad for so long. Now, I've been convinced to read Caraval first. These are my TBR for the year. Will I get through this trilogy and then get to this trilogy? I don't know, probably not, who knows. But I at least want to get started on the Caraval trilogy before I hop into this one. So that's kind of the goal. I feel like for a long time people were saying like, you don't need to read Caraval, and people didn't like Caraval. But now all I hear is amazing things about Caraval. And so I'm like, all right, fine, I'll read it first. November 7th will probably be the most important day of the year for me. One of the 2 most important days of the year, which my next date that I have to talk about after November 7th will be the other one. I cannot wait for Iron Flame. In case you don't know, Iron Flame is going to be the 2nd book in the 4th Wing series. It's not called 4th Wing. It's called the Empyrean, I don't know what the series is actually called. It comes after 4th Wing. 4th Wing ended on such a wild note, and I loved 4th Wing so much. My boyfriend is reading 4th Wing right now, and I'm just like loving experiencing it again with him because he's always like telling me things, and then it's so exciting, and I can't wait for him to finish the book. Because if you know, you know, the last page, oh my gosh, I can't freaking wait. The next most important date is December 26th. The way I can't wait for Christmas to be over so it can be December 26th, because that is when Ruthless Vows comes out, which comes after Divine Rivals. And if you watched my 200 pages a day vlog, I didn't fully capture my entire, I literally, oh my god, I get chills. Like I literally have chills all over my body thinking about Divine Rivals. The way that book, I can't even get over it. The way that book is the best book in the entire world, literally. Ugh, I just have chills. I didn't capture my entire reaction to that book because I was literally so immersed into it. Like pulling out my camera did not even cross my mind. There was nothing else on this planet actually that crossed my mind besides like just being in that world and being in that book. It was so amazing. I've never had so, anyways, I'm not gonna get into a review of Divine Rivals right now because I could go on and on and on all day. But anyways, Ruthless Vows, can't wait. All right, so that's all the releases I have for the end of this year. Is probably enough on its own. But we're not gonna stop there. And there are a decent amount of series I really wanna start this year, as I've already kind of mentioned, which starting like Caraval and the Chestnut Spring series, I've already talked about. So another series I think like I'm slowly getting ready for is Throne of Glass. So I've read ACOTAR, and that's the only Sarah J Maas I've read. I think I'm gonna read Throne of Glass next, and hopefully next year I can get to Crescent City. I'm really excited about Throne of Glass, but it's just very intimidating, so I'm kind of like preparing myself. I did buy the Assassin's Blade already, and I also bought like the first 3 books. I don't remember the names of all of them, but I found them on Book Outlet for like a steal. So if you, I don't know if they're still on there, but check out the Book Outlet. But my package hasn't come yet, and it's been taking a really long time, and that's the first time I've ordered from the Book Outlet, so I don't know how I feel. We'll see when the books actually come. If it ends up sucking, I'll let you guys know. Yeah, because I literally ordered it a week ago and it still just says in transit. If you've read Throne of Glass, please let me know where you read The Assassin's Blade. I have been most convinced by the people that have read it first. So if you feel strongly against that, let me know. And also let me know like why, obviously without any spoilers, but like I need, if you want me to read it third, like I need more passion behind that decision. Why are all her books so long? How does she have the time? I just feel like she's too young. There's no way she's had that much time in her life to write this many pages. Like I don't believe it. I want to read this series really bad. I really do. Again, it's intimidating. I have every book. I am prepared. I am ready. I just need to make the jump into starting it. When is that gonna be? I don't know. Here's the thing with starting series, I just feel like really intimidated by it, and I don't know why, because it's like I can read a book or two of the series and then go read something else. Like I'm probably not gonna read the whole entire series at one time, but yet I just feel like once I start, like it's such a commitment, and I'm like scared of commitment. No, I'm actually not, that's a lie. But with books I am. But also the thing I do love about the Shatter Me series is that the books aren't insanely long. Like reading Throne of Glass is so much more intimidating than reading Shatter Me. Like I'm sure I'll start Shatter Me before Throne of Glass. I just haven't gotten around to it quite yet because of like some other things that I needed to read first. But like I'm probably gonna do that really soon. All right, there's 2 authors that I want to like read one of their books and dabble in this year. One of them is V.E. Schwab and the other one is Olivia Blake. It's like Olivia, but Olivia. Oh my god. I have 2 books by V.E. Schwab already. I have Vicious and I also have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And I'm just like really intrigued. What is going on with my mouth? I'm just like really intrigued by her books. So first, I mean, I think we all know The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue was like super popular, and I feel like I didn't hear good things for a while, but then I heard some people talk about it. It was very convincing, and from my understanding, it maybe is a bit a slower paced book. Like I'm pretty sure it takes over a span of hundreds of years, and this girl is like basically by herself because nobody remembers her. I think that's like the premise. She like makes a bargain to live forever, but like the price she has to pay basically is that nobody will remember her. I mean, it makes sense that this would kind of be slow, but it's apparently like a very, very beautiful story. I can handle slow if it's not boring. Like there's a difference between slow and boring. I can handle slow if it still has some substance to it, you know what I mean? So, and I kind of feel like, of course I haven't read them, I don't really know for sure, but I kind of feel like this is like the slower paced one and this is the faster paced one, so it's just gonna depend on my mood. And Vicious is apparently like if you have a near-death experience, then you gain like superpowers. And from my understanding, there's something like 2 different friends, Victor and Eli. And I think there's like that whole battle of like, is the bad guy really bad and is the good guy really good? Which like, I love that because like, I feel like we see that in so many fantasy books where like you think like the guy is meant to be the good guy and then he sucks, or like this guy is meant to kind of be the bad guy or morally gray, but like he's actually the one that's like good or doing it for the right reasons or whatever. Like, you know, that balance, that moral gray area. I love that shit. And for Olivia Blake, what's the one that's like one for your enemy, one for my enemy, one for that's one I want to read. I feel like I've seen so many of her books, heard a lot about her writing style, and I'm just like curious. Another book I really want to read this year is Ninth House. The way that like I literally only want to read this book because the cover is so sick. Like every time I go to Barnes & Noble, I touch it and I'm just like, this cover is so cool. I don't own it yet, but I really, really want to read that book. I've also heard like nothing but great things and I think I'm gonna really like it. So that's kind of on the list. The next series I really want to start is The Naturals. This is going around like crazy and this just sounds like so much fun. I hear it's just like young adult, it's fast paced, it's never gets boring. Like the people that read these books fly through them. So I just have the first one and I've never read anything from Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So I'm really excited about this. This will probably be the next book I read, honestly. Oh, the font's like pretty big too, actually. 308 pages with big font that's decently spaced out. So yeah, I'm gonna fly through this. So I probably will read this next just to like kind of start getting into the series. The last series we have to talk about that I'm going to start this year. I'm going to. I have a lot to say about this, okay? So I just need you to bear with me and like try to understand. Magnolia Parks. Here's the thing. I feel like, see, this is why like when I talk about this, I feel like it doesn't sound believable, okay? I started reading this book. I got, I think, about like 25% of the way done. I was reading it on my Kindle and I stopped reading it because I loved it too much. And I'm being like dead serious. It was making me feel emotions like I just wasn't ready for. It was written so beautifully, like the way that I want these quotes tattooed on my face. I'm gonna reserve this half of my face for Magnolia Parks and this half of my face for Divine Rivals, because like Divine Rivals, I was getting like that feeling of of how I felt with Divine Rivals with this. Except for Divine Rivals was much more like beautiful love, and this is like toxic love. And here's the thing too, is I want to start this over because I want to annotate it. I want to underline, I want to highlight, I want to tab, I want to have the tab so I can open it and I can go and I can read these little quotes whenever I want. Oh my god, I want to throw up when I think about this book. Like, I just love it so much. Literally, I could flip through any page. I'm just like flipping through all these pages and it's like everything has something so beautiful written on them. I come back to this quote so regularly. The fact that I haven't even finished this book, and I will so often come to this, and then I remember it like a physical punch in the gut, how much I loved him, really loved him to the bone. I loved him, cut me and I'd bleed him, how much I needed him, still needed him, would forever, always, never, couldn't, even if I tried, needed him. And I remember being deeply afraid of what my life would be like without him in it. I just want to cut me and I'd bleed him. Right there. I can't even stand it. I can't even stand it. Okay, I know. I'm gonna restart this book. Like, I'm literally going to start it over so I can experience that quote again. Even though I read it like literally every day, but it's fine. I only have the first 2 books because they're changing the covers. And I'm so mad at myself. Like, literally, I bought this one a while back and I was like, I'll buy the other 3 later when I actually get around to reading them. I'm not doing it anymore for this reason, because now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy all the books so I can read them, and then I find out they're changing the covers and they're putting real people on them. I know so many people are like, it doesn't matter, the covers are still good, like, it's just ink on paper. That's what everyone's, it's literally just words on paper, it's literally just ink on paper. Yeah, it is. It's the content inside that matters. But these covers are like the most iconic to me. Like, these are the coolest book covers, honestly, like, I think ever. Maybe I'm just like being extra salty about it because they're changing it, but like, I'm just really upset that I'm not gonna have them. And honestly, I didn't pay like an insane amount of money, but I probably paid like double the price of like a normal book to get Daisy Hates, and I cannot for the life of me find the last 2 for sale. If you have them and you want to sell them to me, I literally will buy them. Thank you. Somebody DM'd me on Instagram though and was like, oh, you'll still be able to get them. I don't know if that's true. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would they release new covers and then still let you buy the old ones? Anyways, I'm really devastated about it, and I will probably never own physical copies of the last 2 books. I'll just read it on my Kindle, and at least I'll be thankful that I have these. Are there more books I want to read this year? Yeah, there definitely is. There's a lot more books I want to read this year. Like random, one here, one there, one-off books. But the books that I talked about in this video today are high up on my priority list. Just more important for me. Like, I definitely want to get to these books that I talked about today. The other books that I'm like, oh yeah, I have them, or like I have them in the back of my mind and like I definitely want to read them, are probably gonna be like filler books, you know? There's just so many books though that I just talked about. Why would I even like pretend like I'm gonna read other things though? I guess this is kind of like random. I didn't intend on talking about this in this video, but I also recently purchased Hooked by Emily McIntyre, and this is the first book in what they call the Never After series. The Never After series, which are apparently like fairy tale retellings, but the villain is the main character and it's like a dark, spicy romance. So oh, she has a playlist for anyone who has been the villain in someone else's story. You can have everything in life if you will sacrifice everything else for it. Author's note. Hooked is a dark contemporary romance. It is an adult fractured fairy tale. It is not fantasy or a retelling. The main character is a villain. If you're looking for a safe read with redemption and a bad guy turned into a hero, you will not find it in these pages. Hooked contains sexually explicit scenes as well as mature and graphic content that is not suitable for all audience. Reader discretion is advised. Oh, hell yeah, Emily. She says, I much prefer you go in blind, but if you would like a list of detailed triggers, you can find them on EmilyMcIntyre.com. Beautiful. I want to go in blind. I don't want to know the triggers. I want to find them as I go. So I'm really excited about this because I do love a dark romance. I love a dark twisted. It's like supposed to be kind of like inspired by Captain Hook. Whatever, we're gonna find out as we go along. All right guys, that is it. That is my very ambitious TBR. If I'm ever gonna get to these books, I need to stop doing other things and start reading. If you've read any of these books, let me know what you think. Let me know what releases you're excited about. Let me know if there's any releases that I don't have on here that you think I might need to know about. I tried to do a decent amount of research and go through the ones that like I was excited for, so I don't think I've missed anything. The last like 3 months of this year is going to be very exciting as far as reading goes, and you know, as far as life goes too, but like mostly reading. I feel like the end of this year I'm really just going to like hone in on the reading. Like I'm so excited about these releases, and I'm so excited about everything else I have on my TBR, and I'm so excited for life to slow down. I can't even express to you how excited I am for life to slow down. I think like after this week life should slow down, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Like I'm pretty sure this is like a universal experience where you're like, after this week life will slow down, and then the next week you're like, oh, but after this week life will slow down, and it never does. But I'm genuinely actively trying to slow down so I can read. And if you think I'm joking, I'm literally not. I'm being dead serious. All I want to do is read, hang out with my cute pets, and take care of my home. And do you want to see my new kitten? This is the new member of the family. You'll probably see chilling in the videos with me. He is literally the sweetest, the best cat in the entire world. I'm obsessed. And yeah, that's Archie. It's Sir Archibald, because you a mans. You a good mans. Okay. Alright guys, that is it for this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to like the video, comment, do all the things, and I will see you in my next one.